Hello, my lovely friends. This is Marta. Welcome back after such a long break. I'm super excited to be here with you, my friends. Today, I'm having a new technique for you. I'm not sure if anyone else shared it before, but this is something I came up idea. I had some embossing powders on my desk and I thought, let me just try something. I've called this technique puffy embossing because that really reminds me those puffy stickers, and I'm just gonna share it with you in a second. What you see here, I do have the stencil and I add a drop of the embossing ink through the stencil, and I'm just gonna be doing the regular embossing at first. I just want to show you the comparison of the puffy embossing with traditional embossing, so you could see side by side how it's changed the texture, and it's just a new game, especially for those of you, my friends, who love some kind of like a mixed media vibe techniques. You don't have as many supplies, you don't have those texture paste and everything, so this is gonna be a great technique. Now I'm just gonna be finishing off this card because I want to have this nice background all around, so I thought I could use a little bit more on the top, but as I've mentioned, this is just a piece of a sponge. I'm using the piece of a sponge instead of the ink pad directly because this stencil, it's a little bit dirty, so I didn't want to have those little bits of the texture paste transferring to my pad, so that's why I'm using the kitchen sponge. But you could use the ink pad and directly smear it through your stencil and you will have the same result. So once I sprinkle my embossing powder, and I have this peach color embossing powder from SIZZIX, I sprinkle it and I'm just heat setting the powder, and I really like it because it has this subtle shine into it, so it really gives this nice effect. And now let's do the puffy embossing technique. This is super simple. All you really have to do is just to mix up a drop of the embossing powder together with the PVA glue. This is so simple and it doesn't really take as much powder, just in case you've been concerned. All you really need is just to add teeny tiny bit, just to mix it up to the consistency of the texture paste. And once I'm happy with the consistency of that paste, I am just smearing through the stencil just as I did with the embossing ink first, and I'm going with kind of this like a triangle flow. I think it always looks nice. It's this like organized chaos. I didn't do as much paste at first as I needed, so I'm just adding a little bit extra here, and then once I have this mix it up, it's very easy. It just takes few seconds to mix it up. Then I'm just adding the rest to this paper, and once I will heat set this powder, you will see instantly, once you're gonna be melting it, it will just start puffing. And as I've mentioned, this remind me those like a puffy stickers. They are kind of like a nice cushioning puffy effect, and you could do so many things. You not necessarily need to use the stencil. You could add it with your spatula, or even like a smear it on the paper with the sponge or with the brushes, and set it up. There's so many different things you can do with this technique, but the result is way more dimensional than if you would do it with just regular embossing. Make sure, just the one thing tip I want to share with you here: if you're gonna be setting the powder, make sure you're not gonna be overheated, because you don't want the glue to start bubbling and create those bubbles. You just want to heat set it enough so it will dry, and it will just create this nice puffy effect. You will see in a second on a close-up look how much dimensional it is. You can see it here in comparison to traditional embossing. So once I have this paper ready, I'm just gonna quickly finish it off and turn it into the card. I have this 6x6 card base, which is from the craft cardstock, and I think it's gonna be looking nice, and it's give this nice frame all around my card. I'm just trying to see how should I position my paper, and then I am slightly trimming the card base just because those 6x6 cards, they're not really like super square. They are slightly shorter on one side, so because I cut my paper 14 by 14 centimeters, I've decided to slightly trim the card base to make sure I have this nice even frame all around. I'm using double-sided tape on all four sides just to adhere my front panel to the card base, and then I will put a teeny tiny drop of the adhesive on all the corners. For those of you who are wondering why am I doing so, check on the video on the glue. I do have the full video in regards of the techniques and glues I'm using, and I am explaining this very well over there. And now I'm gonna add a couple of the embellishment. I have this label which is coming from my own design, and a couple of the flower sleeves. Everything will be linked down below in the description area, so you can check it over there. Lastly, one more thing I wish to say to all of you, my friends. Thank you so much for being here and watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give a like, to say hi in a comment. Let me know if you ever try this technique, or if you do, then definitely let me know. And please share, if you're sharing your creation, let me know. Please tag me in a post, whether it's a Facebook or Instagram. I would love to see your creation there as well. Last but not least, I am adding a couple of the leaves to my composition, and this is a very old leaves. I've made a batch of them. I think it was like 100 leaves or something. This is how I normally set myself up for creation. I go sometimes from time to time, I'm taking a day just to cut a bunch of leaves or flowers, and then I have them ready on hand whenever I need to finish the card quickly. I just have something I can easily grab. Last but not least, I'm just gonna add a couple of those blue color pearls to my card, because I think they're going nicely with the color of the frame I have on my sentiment, and that will just finish off the card, and it will also give this nice texture to it. In a second, I will show you all the close-up look for the card, so you could see in detail how this card turns out and how this puffiness from the embossing really standing out. And this is a great technique for using up all the embossing powders, and also to give you lots of the texture without spending all the money for all this like fancy texture paste and any other like supplies. You can easily mix up the glue. I'm using this cheap school glue. This is a white PVA glue, with the drop of the embossing, and I also did it with few other colors as well, so I'll be sharing with you a couple more inspiration. And if you're curious of those, check on our group on Drop of Inspiration on Facebook. Here are the close-up look, and once again, thank you so very much for being here, for watching my videos, and for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I am wishing you all a fabulous day, my friends. Stay blessed, and bye bye.